good evening. It's Peter Ward back with you, session number 14. We're going to think today about accepting the offer. So, you've been through everything. You've got the offer. Many congratulations. What now? Well, you have to look at it. You have to review the offer. Don't just assume it's what you want. What's in the contract? That might be an obvious question. You're just ready to sign it because you're so tired of the process. But sometimes, especially for graduate schemes, you can find that you're locked in for maybe 2 years. You're not signing a contract with a 1-month notice period. You're locked in for 2 years. Is that what you want? Sometimes they will actually try to claw back a portion of the training cost that they say they've expended by training you during that 2-year period. So if you do decide to leave, the question is, how much is it going to cost you? And is that something you're willing to accept? Many people say they're not willing to accept that sort of contract. So be careful. Check the contract out. I'm not a contract lawyer, but I've seen those things in people's contracts, so do be careful. And of course, you might want to review the amount of holiday you're going to get, or what they do regarding sick pay, what the pension scheme looks like. All these sorts of things may make a difference between accepting and not accepting a position. You think, well, this is the only position I'm going to get. Well, if you've gone through the whole process to get offered a job with one company, then it's very likely that you'll be able to achieve it for another one too. So don't assume this is the only option you've got. You may find that you've got others. So don't just rush in to sign the first contract that you get, to sign up for the first job offer you get. If you want some more time to consider the offer, then ask for it. Say you'd like to think about it over the weekend. You'd like to get other people's advice. Maybe say that you want a lawyer to look at your contract for you. Maybe one of the reasons for this is actually you want to wait to see if you get another offer. That is always the challenge, isn't it? You've got offer A, you really want offer B, but offer B hasn't arrived yet. So do you take A and not take B and work out that you might not get it? Or do you say no to A and hold off for B and you may not get it? It's a real challenge. Try to string out offer A as much as you can if that's the situation you're in. But ultimately the company will put a deadline on you, so you may well have to make that decision and try to make the right one at the time. Don't forget though that you don't have a contract until it's signed. So you can say yes to a job, and at a later point you can actually pull out of it as long as the contract has not been signed. Now I say that on that basis, but think about it on the other basis too. You don't have a job until the company has signed the contract. And I do know of at least one case when the contract was sent to the student, sent to the graduate, and was actually withdrawn within a couple of days because they hadn't signed. Well, they could do it because she hadn't signed it, and they withdrew it on a technicality. So it is possible that until the contract is signed, it's not a contract, and it's possible for the company to actually withdraw it. So, that's another reason why you shouldn't leave it too long to make that commitment, just in case. But do recognize that you are at risk until it's signed on both sides. What else is worth thinking about? Salary. Can you negotiate the salary? Our friend Glassdoor can be a useful source of information on whether a company is willing to accept negotiations. For a graduate scheme, they probably won't. You knew what you were getting when you started through the process. They usually tell you, and that's a fixed amount. Other organisations, other situations, other job opportunities, they may be different. And salary is not the only thing to negotiate. Have a look at other things. You know, it may be holiday, it may be pension. There may be other terms and conditions that you want to discuss. But it depends on the company and whether they're willing to negotiate for a particular position. Okay, I think that's probably it about this particular topic. Your action will be to talk to people before you get the offer, ideally, to get advice on whether to take it if you're given it. So get some of your due diligence done in advance, so that you're not trying to rush and get it all done in the probably relatively short period that you're going to have between receiving the contract and actually having to sign it. There was one thing I wanted to pick up on from the previous session, the session on the final interview, because I talked a lot about how it was a case of, do you fit the company? What I didn't mention, and what is equally important, is, does the company fit you? It is at this point in time when you get the opportunity to have those sorts of discussions and to really get a feel for what the company is like. So you talk about their culture and how it aligns with your culture. You think about what you've seen in the organization. You know, even what you've seen as you go to the interview room. Do people look like they're working well, or is it a noisy environment? Do people look happy or sad? Are people coming together for lively discussions, or are they all separate and silent? You know, none of these is actually wrong or right, but they may affect the way that you view the company and therefore the job. So do take the opportunity to decide whether the company is right for you, as well as whether you are right for the company. Okay, so I think that's it. That's the end of session 14. We have one more left, and that's settling in. You've accepted the contract. Now, how do you get into the job? So we'll think about that next, and then that'll be the end. And I look forward to seeing you for that. So goodbye, and until the next time.